Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Good afternoon. It's the Safi Russell from SDR Consulting, Inc., founder and CEO. Welcome to Business Basics Friday. Business Basics Friday is our weekly session catered to providing value to small business owners with various guest speakers. A little bit about myself. I'm a CPA and enrolled agent based in New York, but I have a virtual practice, so we do work with clients all over. And we help businesses with startup and cleanup services, as well as tax resolution if they've gotten into trouble with the IRS or state. And so welcome again. I hope you're staying warm. If you're in the Northeast area, it's freezing today. Um, but we're going to have our guest speaker come on board shortly, and afterwards we will be having an open Q&A for any questions you have, whether you're here on Facebook or in Clubhouse. Welcome to everyone, wherever you're plugging in from. So we're going to have our guest speaker come on board. Ms. Empress Lanice, we are ready for you.
Hi, Safi. Hi, everyone. I just want to thank you all for being here. And the beauty about today's topic, it includes technology and it happens, breakdowns happen and we want them because that is how we can get to our breakthrough. So what I'm going to do is share my screen so you all can see. And what we're going to be talking about is actually how to let our website make money for us, because a lot of times we create websites, right? And we're like, okay, we got the website, it looks beautiful, but what's next? We're always like, what is next? How can I get people onto my website? How can I make money on my website? And sometimes we look at websites as something that's not important, especially because of the world of social media, where we utilize our social media as our portfolio or our website, but really social media is just to pretty much connect us with our audience. So I'm going to be talking about three things today. And those three things are the purpose of your website. Then we're going to talk about ways to make money. And then the next point is growing and sustaining your website to make money, right? It's because we want to understand why we have a website first. And then we're going to look at the different ways. And then also it's about growing and sustaining that. And there's different techniques and strategies that we can put in place that I'm briefly going to be talking about. Um, so, first is our purpose. So, the purpose of our website is to inform, educate, and convince potential customers or clients on why you are the best company to provide a service or why you have the best products. Once you understand your purpose, then you'll know how to create your website. And then with creating your website, you want to make sure you have all of this information about your company, about what it is that you're offering right at the top. And I'm actually going to be working on a course where it goes into specific details of what you need to have on the landing page of your website. And then the next step is ways to make money. So technology has made it convenient for customers and clients to transact on your website. There are unlimited ways of how you can have your website make money for you. So with transactions, now we can take payments online. We can add applications, apps, plugins. There's so many different ways of how we can generate money. And then now, once you put those things in place, it's like, okay, well, how can we grow and sustain that? So, building and maintaining relationships is always the key to growing your business. And that's what you want to look at and growing and sustaining when it comes to your website. So, now that we can do a lot of things online and do automations, we want to have those things in place so that we don't have to deal with the headache of keeping track of who you've been engaging with, right? Because before technology, before computers, we always had to write them down in our notebooks or our pads, legal pads, and like keep track. Did I call this person today? Did I interact with this person today? But now we are in 2022 and technology has made things so much smoother. And sometimes we get so caught up in being in our business that we forget that we have these amazing tools. So I'm here to just be a reminder of how you can make money on your website. All right. So the purpose of your website, the importance of your homepage or landing page. So it's your first impression. So your homepage or landing page has to be appealing and attracting to the people. So let's think about it. How many times have you visited a website and left because it wasn't attractive to you or it was confusing about what the company offer? So I've been guilty of this. And this was before I even designed websites, really got the understanding of how websites work. I was most definitely like, I don't like the colors, or I don't understand what they're trying to show me or sell me. Or let's say technicality, the button is not working. I immediately hop off the website. And what research shows, the clock is ticking when it comes to people going to your homepage or landing page, because you have about 10 to 20 seconds to show why a customer or client should hire you or buy your products before they decide to leave your website. And I also do Google Analytics. And when I'm looking at the analytics, it shows the bounce rate to be like about 70, 80%. And that's not a good number to have. You want to keep it as low as possible. When your bounce rate is high like that, that means people are, they're like going to the website and coming right back off. You want them to really engage on your website, and the first place that they see that is your homepage. So that is one of the main purpose of your website, and why it's important to make sure that your homepage is very clear as possible. As far as the look of it, the aesthetics of it, that it creates a mood. It creates some type of emotion for people to want to stay. So like if you look throughout my presentation, you see the color purple. I want to exude royalty when you come to my business. I want you to feel like when you come to my business that you're going to get the best experience, the best quality of service. So that's why I personally use the color purple. And also it is my favorite color. And a lot of times, experts say to not necessarily use your favorite color, but if you understand the meaning behind your color, your favorite color, what mood that it brings, then you can decide if you want to keep that or go somewhere else. Or even I just learned in another workshop of just even maybe changing the shade of the color. So I really want to stress the importance of the homepage, because that's where people start. So if you're like, nobody's coming to my website, or nobody's taking action on my website, it could be just as simply of your homepage or your landing page. It just may not be attractive or effective for people to want to actually engage in your services or products. So now, the ways that you can make money. And this is really just a refresher. Some of you may already know this, but it's a reminder, because sometimes we need people to hold us account of what we can do, because we're so caught up in our business that we forget of what people are looking at and how they're seeing it. So ways to make money, if you didn't know this, is to process that you can process payment via your website. So a lot of times, especially service providers, we think that we can only process payment if we have a product, right? Like if we're selling merch, if we got t-shirts or cups or something, that's the only time that we have payments go through our website. You can actually sell other things too. So you can sell consultations. You can even create online courses. You can sell your events if you're doing virtual or in-person events. There's different plugins or tools or software that you can add to your website that will allow you to do these transactions for you. And you can have it all go to your website instead of having all these different platforms, and where you're like sending one person to Eventbrite. What you could do is have an integration, which I believe Eventbrite does have an integration plugin if you're using WordPress, and I think there's some other platforms. But the goal is to get everybody to go to your website. It's not like, oh, go to Eventbrite or go to Bandzoogle or go to like all these other places. It's like, no, go to elpragency.net or sdrconsultinginc.com, and they can get everything there. You want to have everything funneled through your website. So if you want to do invoices on your website, you can do that. And the next part I'm going to talk about of ways you can make money is having customer or client portals. SDR Consulting Inc. actually has portals where they handle all of their transactions. If you never worked with them before, they actually have a portal where they handle communication with their clients. They can do payments through their portal. They're utilizing their website. And that's something that you can do. So if you're a service provider, you can most definitely create portals where you handle all your engagement with your clients, keep track of documents and files, where you don't have to look through different emails. You don't have to go through different platforms. Everything is all one. So you want to invest in your website to be able to have these different functionalities, because it will make things so much easier. And then I'm not technically touching a bit on this today, but just to throw this out there, it increases traffic to your website, because if you're having all your customers, you're having prospect customers, if you're doing ads, doing all of this stuff, and you're having people go directly to your website, it increased traffic, and it also helped boost your SEO, your search engine optimization. So if people are putting in keywords, like in the case of SDR consulting, looking for business startup or business cleanups, they type in those words, SDR consulting will be at the top, because there's so many people going to that website for that service, or just to even engage, that it's boosting up their visitors and their views to their website. So these are all things that you can apply to your business that you may not be thinking about, and you can get that done immediately, and it saves you time. It saves you time of having to backtrack everything, especially if you're using client portals. And I'm sure later, Safi, she can probably attest to that, of how it's been beneficial for her. And then also, the last point I'm going to mention, if you want to learn more, we can most definitely do consultation, because this is just a brief overview of what you can do. But you can do advertisement or get sponsorships. I think as businesses, we don't think of us of being able to do that, because we know that media outlets more than likely ask for advertisements or sponsorships, like magazines, blogs, television shows, or newspapers. But as businesses, we can actually have advertisement on our site, and we can have advertisement on our site in the sense of those that complement our services, if you want to do it that way. So it doesn't feel like it's adsy, but you can even say it's affiliate, affiliate advertisement, where it's another company or organization that you work with, and they can place an ad on your website. But imagine you doing that to generate additional income, and that income can happen in your sleep. And especially if you're getting a lot of traffic to your site, so your customers are going to the site, you're doing ads, so new leads are going to your site, um, people that you meet randomly and tell them to go to your site, like, people are going to see that advertisement on there that complements your service, that you're helping that business and you're getting paid for advertising them. So there's ways around of how you can do that, but I threw that in there. I decided to throw that in there last minute, because I was like, this is something that we don't think of doing, because we're so used to media companies doing that. But as a business, there's ways that we can generate income, especially if we're bringing value, because we're bringing traffic to that other business as well. So if you ever thought about how many times your business been advertised on somewhere else, I think there's an organization, I think Business Commerce or something like that, where they do advertisements of other people's businesses. That's bringing income to them, as well as bringing eyes to that business. So just start thinking in that way. Don't limit yourself to just the services that you provide, or that you got to use other platforms. Make everything funnel through your website. Don't let your website just sit there, because a lot of times we create these beautiful websites, but we just let it sit there. So now the last point I'm going to talk about is growing and sustaining that. So with that, I just want to move this a little bit. There we go. So growing and sustaining. So you want to build relationships. Right now, we're in the time, thanks to COVID, that we're home all the time. So we're not going out to networking events, but we're doing them virtually. But now, how do we maintain those relationships? How do we keep the conversation going after we make that connection online, or even in person, if those are you that are still going out? So you want the two things that you want to do or put in place immediately, if you haven't done it, is create a database. So you want to track every person that you meet, get their names and numbers, their emails, birthdays if you want to, where'd you meet them. Track as much information that you get, because this also helps you of understanding your audience, of knowing who's your core base. Because sometimes we may not know who our audience is, but once you look at that data, you can see, oh, I get a lot of women or men from New York or from New Jersey, or their age ranges from 35 to 45. Like, all of this data helps you understand who is your audience, who is it that you're targeting. And that way you can actually niche your business to something more focused. So that's the importance of data, of having a database. And then also email marketing and automation. So now that you got this information of the emails, the names and the phone numbers, and the addresses if you want to, that's three different ways of how you can connect with your audience and build that relationship, right? So you can do email newsletters or email blasts, email series, or drip in some terminology. You can do text blast. That's very popular now because a lot of times we're on our phone. So it's easier to send out a text like, hey, join us right now, than sending out an email where some people may not check their emails. Or even doing old school, sending out mailers. It still works, you know. And if you have a big enough budget to do all three, you're able to capture different audiences, right? And then what's perfect about having your database and keeping track, let's say having Google Analytics on your website, you'll be able to see where people are coming from. Are they coming from their mobile device? Are they coming from the text blast? Are they coming from the emails? And you could probably even set up ways of to track where they're coming from direct mail if you choose to. But these are some just basic information that I wanted to share with you guys and remind you, because a lot of times we go to these courses and people talk about these things, but it's important to know that these things are very effective and to implement them on your website, because this is how it's going to generate money for you. And then just to give one more point as far as growing and sustaining of how it connects to your website. So if you have a sign up form on your site, people sign up, you can have an automated email say, hey, thank you for signing up, welcome to the community, whatever it is that you want to say, and you can let them know what's going on, right? So that is your way of communicating with them without you having to directly communicate with them with yourself. Like, it's automated email. And then you can even do automated sequences, email sequences, where after that initial email in a few days is like, hey, we have this coming up, or hey, did you know about our service that we do that? So, like, you can tailor it to your business needs, but that is how you're maintaining the relationship. That's how you're getting them to go back to your website. That's how you're getting them to upsell, to try out one of your other services. So sometimes we're missing those basic elements because we're so caught up in our work that we forget these things, to where we can actually make money in our sleep and not have to do so much work. So my goal is to really to just eliminate how much time you have to invest in your business so that your website, your business can make money. And if there's any questions, you can do that. And my contact information is here if you're watching on Facebook Live. If you're listening, you can always schedule a consultation with me on elpragency.net, or go to my Instagram, Empress Lanice PR Agency, and DM me, and then I can send you the link. And Safi, I am complete.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing, Empress. And you're right. Some of the information is like, oh, you're right. I could do that, but you had, to have someone guide you through that and remind you of what you can do on your site. The impact of the little things, definitely makes a big difference. I know for me, and working with you, it's been great as far as getting exposure and being on social media and kind of remembering to drive everything back to the site. And so even little things I do as far as like integrations with my client portal and the different forms that I have, I'm learning to now redirect most of that to the site, to my main website. Like, okay, here's my contact form or potential client form. Let's embed that on the site instead of them going to my separate, Cognito forms directly. So little things like that definitely make a difference. And you're right. A website is the first look. And there's certain key things when I am coming across a new vendor, for example, to work with. I go to their site, I go to their about me. There's certain things I'll go to. I go to location. There's certain things I'm looking out for. And if I don't see it, I don't want to do business with them. So it definitely, I could see, how valuable the site could be because I make that determination just in working with, different vendors. So thank you for sharing that. So we are going to open up for questions. If you're on Clubhouse, if you have a question, if you're on Facebook, definitely feel free to post a question. Now is the time. The one thing I did want to discuss, it was something you said relating to taking payments, right? So in talking about my process, right? So I have a client portal, I can do everything on there, which is awesome. Usually there's an intake form process, and then I send you a quote.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm like, I can actually skip a step with some of these things where for baseline, prices, things that I know, okay, a consultation for an hour is this. So now let's just have you pay when you fill out the form, and I skip the step of having to now send you a quote, wait for you to accept it, wait for payment. It's like 3 steps out of the way. And now all I have to do is have the form right on my site and they can make the payment. And then the online course, same thing, linking them to that online course and buying the course. So I think it's really key with the whole linking back process. And, if you can maybe explore a little bit more about that when people have podcasts or, different external things, how you can link it back to your site. Like if you can kind of go into that a little bit.
Yes. So we actually did that for your website, right? For the podcast. So we actually have it embedded on the site. So even though it's streaming on Apple Podcasts, on TuneIn app, Spotify, it's still on the website. So if people just want to go to the website to listen to the podcast, it's already embedded there on the page. So that's how you're keeping them on the site. So if you wanted to, you don't even have to promote the other platforms. You could just say, hey, go to my website. Or even some of these platforms do allow you to embed the players onto the site too. But the ultimate goal is to get people to go there. Even if it does happen to take them off, you want to always direct them to the website, because one, they may see other services. They may start and decide to browse through. You're like, you know what, I haven't looked through this website. Let me see what else is going on. And you, just as how we shop for like clothes, people do the same thing for services. If it's attracting to the eye, or if they're curious to learn more, they're happy with what they got from you already, let's see what else is you're offering. You want to always make sure that that information is on your site. And then one thing I forgot to touch on is making sure that you update your site too. I struggle with this as well, right? So sometimes we forget that, oh yeah, we have this new promotion, or oh yeah, we don't do this service anymore. So let's update the website. So we have to like make sure that is being updated. And if you can, and I think it's very important to have a team, or hire someone that's dedicated for that. Even if it's just your assistant, tell them every morning, go on the website to make sure like all the links are working, all the buttons. This is like all the technical stuff of the website. But that's important too, because sometimes you might have a broken link and someone might not be able to make a payment. So if you're able to catch that early before people normally start their day, that's good. So if you want to do that yourself, making sure all this stuff works, go for it, because that plays a factor too, which like I'm thankful that you asked me to do this, because they opened my eyes to say, you know what, I need to create some online courses for myself, because I'm building them out for other people. I'm like, I need to do it for myself now, because there's so much knowledge and wisdom in your website, and there's a lot of things that we don't think about. But yes, you can just attach everything to your site.
Yeah, absolutely. And the update piece of it, really key, because being in the accounting and tax industry, things change often, right? And I just recently went through a revamp and got some tips from Empress and Lanice and things to implement. And I had a lot of outdated stuff on my site, laws that may have changed, not a whole bunch, but enough that it was like, I really need to look at this more than once a year. Because I usually do like December, January is my time to kind of do all those things, but it was a lot. I pretty much had to revamp the whole site. And definitely, like you mentioned, as far as targeting and niche and people knowing what you do, I came across people who didn't really know the services I offered. I'm like, how don't you know that? And I go to my site and then, okay, I understand, it's not really clear. So, definitely being clear, concise. And I think also, what's what I'm looking for? I guess concise is the word. I've seen sites where, just like 1,000 words, no one's going to read it, just, clear, concise, and then they can learn more, when you speak. But definitely the relationship piece of it, being a virtual firm, always, pre-COVID, we were virtual. So it has been important to keep that communication. So like the newsletter,
option. I've had people come to me a year later, oh, I get your newsletters every month. We spoke 2 years ago. I'm ready now. But because you kept that constant contact going on, email, social media, just keeping yourself out there in with your presence, it definitely can bring money in later on that you didn't even know was coming from something you did a year ago.
Yes, that's so true. I've experienced that recently. Like everything I'm sharing with you guys, I'm like, okay, I have to implement for myself, right?
Right.
And because I'm always in my business, and that's why I had to stress that today, because like we're so in our business that we don't think about all of these things outside of it. And I had started doing my email campaigns again, and guess what? I had some income come in because of me doing those email campaigns. And at first, to me, it was like, okay, this email list is so old. Like we can't even think about it like that the email list is so old or that we haven't used it. We need to reactivate it, because you don't know how many people were probably trying to say, what was Empress email again?
Right.
I can't find her. And especially for me, I went through so many name changes, so it's hard for people to find me. Now I've been consistent, but over the years, I was like in discovery of what it was that I was trying to do. So I've had name changes, but sometimes if you keep those email blasts going, or even if you do a name change, hey, just letting you know that we have a whole new name change. I no longer go by Jessica, I go by Empress Lanice. Or if you change your company name, whatever that is, that's an email that you want to send out, and you want to let people know these updates, and even minor updates to the website. If you ever get emails from corporations where they said, hey, we no longer have this button on the site, we just want to let you know, like that's keeping the engagement, because sometimes people are so used to whatever you have on the site or whatever information there or service that you offer. We got to tell them when we make those updates, because they're not going to know. And maybe what you offering now may be something of interest of them compared to what you was offering before.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely like new services, new service offerings, those kind of announcements are great because they wouldn't know otherwise. And so tell us a little bit, Impress, about, the work you do, and then we'll get ready to close out. And if there's any questions, feel free to comment or uh, raise your hand in Clubhouse. But let's tell us a little bit more about the services that you offer.
Yes, and I realized I didn't introduce myself. I was just so excited to share the information. Yes, so I'm Empress Lanice, the founder of Empress Lanice Public Relations Agency. And what I do, I am a publicist. However, throughout the years, I've also expanded my services to website design and development. And then we also do social media management. And I do a lot of other stuff outside of that. I do also have a production company, the L Spot Productions, and under that, we produce TV shows, digital content, and a magazine. We have a brand new magazine called E-Power Magazine, and that is designed, created by myself and my team, and is focused on entrepreneurs sharing your story. So if you are an entrepreneur listening or watching right now, you can always contact us, info at epowermagazine.com, if you want to be featured or just share some of your services and products. But I've been in media and media, entertainment, public relations for the past 10 years. I believe March will be officially 10 years for me of doing this. And I'm excited and loving the evolution of myself and what I do. So if you're ever interested in my services, you can go to elpragency.net. And once again, that's elpragency.net. And you can set up a consultation with me or hit me up on Instagram at Empress Lanice PR Agency, and you can feel free to DM me and get to know me there too. I show a lot of my personality on my social media. It's not just strictly business. So yes, get to know me there.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that information. And Impress has been stretching me to be more active on social media, be more present, to be more on video, and share my passion of dancing. So it's been fun.
Yes, I know you guys, if you follow SDR Consulting and seeing some of those TikTok or real videos, she has so much personality that's hidden. She's so much fun. Like I saw it before me actually seeing it. And sometimes you want to showcase that as a business owner. We're in a time of people wanting to know who you are, and you don't want to hide that. You want people to love you and your services.
Got it. Got it. Thank you for stretching me. So we're gonna go ahead and close out. This has been really helpful, great discussion. I can't wait for this to be on the podcast. So spread the word. This will be on our Facebook page live, as well as it'll transition to the podcast series. That's DR Business Basics. So as far as me, SDR Consulting Inc., in case you're joining late, founder and CEO. And my background is I've been in the industry almost 20 years now. And SDR Consulting focuses on business owners, helping them with startup phase and cleanup phase of their business if needed, as well as tax resolution services. So we'll be back next Friday, the 28th, yes, at 12 p.m. Eastern with another guest speaker. So feel free to spread the word and join us here, or you can always watch the replay. And Empress, thanks again for your time. Everyone have a great day and stay safe.